Welcome to the sixth and final video in the series using the AES Board Rule option for sealing cover pages. This video is going to concentrate on some sealing details that we've had some issues with and combining the final plans to produce a complete record set composing of an executed cover page with seals on it, the plans themselves, and the last document will be the audit trail, which we produced in the last video. So let's get started first on some seal details. So that's a professional seal on screen, magnified 300%, that actually came from a company that produces seals, professional seals, both images and mechanical seals, to meet all state board rule requirements. So in the case of Colorado, the AES board rules say that a stamp must be 1 5/8 inches square, which is 1.625 inches. So how do you know that this seal meets that requirement? Well, I'll show you. Up here where it says View, click on View, then Show Hide, and under Show, pick Rulers and Grids here. And then pick Rulers here. One more step and we're done. View again, Show Hide, and then cursor coordinates. So what we've got is a little ruler at the top and a little black area here that shows you what the XY coordinate is based on where the cursor is on the screen. So notice first of all that it shows when I bring the cursor right up here to just below the 0, almost at a perfect spot in alignment with the 0, it shows the XY coordinate as 0 and 0. That's because that's the start of this file where the white space is. That's the file. This gray area here is not part of the file. And if I move all the way over to the right, where the ruler tells me it's 1 5/8 inches, notice over on the left in the black box, it says 1.65. That's about as close as I can get to 1.625. That's within 3/100ths of an inch. So this image is exactly 1 5/8 inch square. What's important about that is when you place it in the image box where you seal, that box by default in Adobe Sign, that stamp or seal box, has been configured to be 1.625 inches. So if the seal is 1.625 and the box is 1.625, it's a perfect transition with no shrinking or no expanding. The reason we've seen problems with this is apparently it hasn't been very clear what the computer sees. The computer doesn't see any of this stuff that your eyes and your intelligence tells you is a seal. It sees all this white space, and then it puts in there whatever's in there. So if the white space were, say you'd taken a picture of your seal by wet sealing a piece of paper and then taking a picture of it with your iPhone or your smartphone in, say, horizontal orientation, you're going to see the seal perfectly clear. It's an image, it'll work. But the problem is, all this gray area is going to be white space. So Adobe Sign is going to see the edge of the image from out here, way over to here, and it's going to cut that image about in half, meaning it's only going to fill up half of the seal box because it's seeing the edges of the file. It doesn't actually see this seal. That's what it's all about. So how do you can also do this if, say these are all possible to do, but there's a lot more work if you use your iPhone because you've got to then crop the image, create an image file of it after it's cropped, save it, use it again. If you wet seal a piece of paper, say, and then send it through your scanner and send a image to your computer, you can use that. The problem is it's been scanned, and even at 300 DPI, that's a very grainy image compared to what you see on screen. How do I know that? Well, watch this. I'm going to blow it up almost 700%. See how clear that is? That's a sharp, crisp image at any magnification because it's basically a vector image. That's the difference. It's not a raster image. So when you scan something, if it's small enough, it looks pretty good to the eye, but you magnify it at all, it starts looking kind of hairy. And at this magnification, it would look terrible. So as befitting the time, effort, and social cost and whatnot of obtaining a PE license, I think it should look nice and clear. It should look crisp. And that's what you get when you buy a stamp or a seal from a company called Acorn, like the nut, A-C-O-R-N, acornsales.com. Acorn Sales specializes in providing mechanical seals and images created, I think, with Photoshop. So they're guaranteed to meet your board rule requirements. So you don't have to worry about it. You get a TIFF file, you get a JPEG image file, you get a PNG file, and you get what's on screen, which is a PDF. The only reason I put the PDF on screen is because I can put the ruler up there and show you the size of it. So if I shrink this down to its actual size, see it's at 639% of its actual size, meaning a 1.5 inch seal is showing the entire width of my computer screen. But I'm going to show you its actual size by clicking here and saying actual size. Bang, there it is. This is what is exactly the size of the seal in Adobe Sign in a record set cover page when you get it. It's that size, and it fits in there perfectly. So I would just say the best $15 you're ever going to spend is go to acornsales.com, request the image. They'll send you 4 images. Then the only thing you have to do, you don't have to worry about size, cropping, clarity, nothing. All you have to do is to take an image of your signature and combine it with that image, because the board rules require, as we mentioned before, that the signatures show through the seal. So that means that it must be a single image. And how to do that was one of the early videos. You can still go back to it in the first video training series for electronic sealing. Shows you how to do that. So that's why you want to purchase your seal instead of going through all the harangue of other methods of trying to create it, spending all that time, and then finding out it doesn't look too good and it's the wrong size. That's an effort you don't need. Okay, so that's enough on seals. Let's look at how do we combine into the final drawing the executed sealed cover page, the plan set, and the audit trail. We close that. So this is where I stored the files that make up the pieces. And I don't know if you can read this, but the first one here that's highlighted says Adobe Sign sealed 21751 record set plans, cover page only. If I make this wider, cover page only, encrypted. That I didn't put that encrypted there. Adobe Sign did. That's your key, that thing is a protected file. It can't be changed. That means also that you can't use a regular file combine option in Adobe Sign. It's got to be put in a portfolio, which is a special type of PDF that maintains the validity of an encrypted signature without stripping it away. The second file we need is that one. The record plans, as it says, without cover page. I put these little Q's in there in a file name because it makes me easy to remember what I'm doing, what files I'm using, and I don't accidentally use the wrong file. The last one we need is this one. And it says the same thing, except the word in caps says audit trail. So those are the 3 files we need to put together into a portfolio file to have a complete executed plan set with the new AES Board Rule option of using a cover page. So you have to open up Adobe Sign first. That's down here in the lower right. And then the next step is you click on File here, and you say Create. That's the key. You say Create PDF Portfolio. There it is right there. Click on that, and this box opens up, which basically says put whatever files you want in here. Now, you can put, if you wanted to, an Excel file, a Word file, a PDF, doesn't matter if it's executed or not. And the nice thing about a PDF is it maintains the original validity and association with the program that created it. So if you put an Excel file in here, it doesn't transfer it into a PDF. It can, there's options for that, but it will keep it as an Excel file. A Word file will be a Word file. A PDF will be a PDF. If it happens to be executed, sealed like ours are, it doesn't strip that away. That's the important thing to remember. So I'm going to split the screen here. Showed you how to do that earlier. Bring up the drive, the hard disk that has the files in it. And I'm going to drag these 3 files, the executed cover page, plans themselves without the cover page, and the audit trail over here on the right, and drop them in there. So I left mouse click, drop them in there, make it full size. There they are. We haven't saved it yet, so it isn't a portfolio file yet, but it's close. I want to show you a few things here. So if you haven't done this, if you just hover on it, it'll give you the name of what it is. You can see that, but if you want it bigger to confirm it, click on that, and there it is. So that's the executed record set. If I click outside of this white area, it goes back. Same thing with the plans themselves. I can hit this button to expand the pages, or I can just click on plus and it'll make the first page bigger. Okay, there's your plan set. That's page 2 really, even though it says page 1 down here because it's just a dummy file. If I want to see all of the files, I click this icon here, which shows me thumbnails of everything in that file. You don't need to do this. I just want you to know you have this capability. You can actually arrange these files within the plan set by dragging them and dropping them. I wouldn't recommend doing that because they're in the order of page numbers. So this is not something you need to do. Just know that the capability is there. Here is the video file, the audit trail. If I click on that, there's both pages. If I want to see enlarged, there it is. That's first page. Okay, so they're in the right order. What if they weren't? I happen to click them in the right order so that the cover page would be first, the plan set second, and this third. I clicked them in that order. So when I drug them over there in the right order, what if they weren't? What if I clicked them in the backward order? Well, you can take this and just move it. Well, now it's going to be in the middle. What if I wanted that first? Well, now it's first, but that's the wrong order. So the right order is this one first, the plans, and then the audit trail. So I'm going to move the audit trail back. So that's the correct order. That's all there is to it. Now I say create the PDF. That's what I'm asking it to do. And it's running through its little ramifications, doing its thing. There it is. Notice up here at the top, there's your security blue bar. Notice if I mouse over one of these seals, there's the little hand and the secure hash algorithm that if you click on this, it would take me to a secure website in the cloud, and it would show me the verification for that seal. So this is what you can't do if you just do a standard file combine. This works because it's a portfolio. So that's the first page. If I click over here, this is the second file, which really is the beginning of the second page. There it is. And if I go down to the bottom and click this, it should take me right to the end. There's the cover page. So this is a complete plan set. This is exactly what I want. It's in the right order, it's done correctly, and I'm ready to save it so that I can put it in project-wise, basically. But before we do that, I want to show you something you probably haven't seen before. You don't need to remember this. Just know it, that if you look at the signature panel, that's information about the security within this document, which applies to any documents that have this blue bar up here. It would not apply to the plan set because it wasn't secured. It's just a plain old flat PDF of 81 pages. But the last document, the audit trail, and the first page are secure signed documents. So let's look at the signature panel as it relates to them. If I click on that right here, this window comes up. And it's got all kind of information about the signature. We're only going to look at one piece. I'm going to open that up. I'm going to go down to signature details. In this case, think of it as seal details. Click on that. And then under certificate details. All right, all this comes up. I only care about one of these. The details on the certificate, I click that tab, and all this craziness comes up. But if I go to the bottom, remember when we went over the AES Board Rules in video 2, and we talked about public key infrastructure and the fact that that was the oldest type of signature identification between computing devices? If I click on that, there's the unique key, the public key infrastructure key for this document on this machine. This is pretty hard to break into this, but this typically applies only to signatures, not the entire document, right? That's one of its weaknesses. But notice below it, it says SHA-1 digest, a public key. That's the secure hash algorithm. That was the little yellow box that comes up with the hand when you mouse over a seal. If I click on that, this long series of letters and numbers is the transaction ID at the top of the audit trail, that crazy long number. So if anyone ever questioned the validity of this document and looked at the security details and understood what they were looking at, this is basically the proof behind it. That's all. Just wanted to show you it was there under signature panel. Okay, so now it's time to save this. So we've got our final, complete, executed, and encrypted plan set in a PDF portfolio file. So I say Control S for save, and it says, where do you want this? Well, I want to put it where those other videos were where I grabbed them. So I'm going to choose a different folder because I know where it is. And that is under Documents, Adobe Sign, video number 6, which this is. Now notice it has a default name down here. It doesn't know any better. It's just calling it Portfolio 1. Well, that's not a very good name. What I would typically do is I would pick the name that's closest to what I want. Since these files all involve 21751, I would probably pick this one, and then I would, because then it automatically puts it down here. And then I would take off Video 6, Adobe Acrobat, and let it start with 21751 record plans, get rid of without and cover page, and I'd be done. That's this one right here. 21751 record set plans signed. Why does it say signed? That's something I like to do. If I put in caps signed, that's telling me among all these other things that talk about 21751, this is the signed set of record plans. It's very difficult to make a mistake. So I'm just going to click on that so it puts the name down here because that's what I want. And I'm going to say save. It says, yeah, it exists. I want to override it. No problem. All right, so if I close this, and there's the brand new set of plans that goes in ProjectWise right there. Let's click on it. There it is. There's your portfolio. You are done. That's all there is to it. I hope you found this series of videos useful and helpful. I tried to make them as short as I can, but sometimes the detail is important so that you know what you're doing. The support for this series of videos was listed on the last slide of the first video if you want to go back to that. Also know that if some of the things that I mentioned you've forgotten how to do and they weren't included in this video, like how do I combine my signature with the seal that I get from acornsales.com, you can go back to the first series of videos, click through it until you get to the one that describes how to do that and take it. You can come back at any time.